Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of The 3 Count. I'm War Machine MJ, and I'm here today to talk about Smackdown from June the 12th. Of course, it's the Go Home Smackdown 2 Backlash, the greatest wrestling match ever! In theory. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. Yeah, we kicked off the show with the contract signing between Sheamus and Jeff Hardy for their match at Backlash. Of course, Sheamus coming out with a whole cavalcade of characters, including a couple of security guards carrying a black privacy screen and a doctor. Of course, he had gotten he had convinced management to give Jeff Hardy a P test before he has to sign the contract, the drug test. Yeah, there we go. Well, that's the thing. You just pee. That's the whole test. Anyway, and of course, before all this, Jeff Hardy was before he took his test, Jeff Hardy was just kind of running through his battle with addiction. Of course, it's well documented. Not in kayfabe, but in real life. Of course, we think back to that Victory Road match between him and Sting, where they just kind of threw it out the window. But yeah, he talked about how he's trying his hardest to keep from spiraling back into his old vices, making sure his wife and his kids don't have to see him like that ever again. He talked about how he's been going to meetings every week and telling people his struggles, and how facing guys like Sheamus just kind of make him want to dive back into his addiction. But he wants to be the beacon of light, and he wants to kick Sheamus's ass, without having to go into his past demons. So he takes his he starts taking his test behind the privacy screen. While he's doing that, Sheamus continues to belittle him, even does a public service announcement: winners don't do drugs, yada yada yada. Of course, the doctor was on hand for instantaneous results, so it wouldn't have to be like a day or a week or so, or however long it takes to send off the results and get them back, or send off the test, get the results back. So the doctor's, he's testing it while Jeff Hardy and Sheamus are going back and forth, and while Sheamus is, pandering to what little crowd was out there, Jeff grabs the sample from the doctor, and it's like it's like a yay tall beaker of what I can assume is apple juice, because it looked fairly light, so it couldn't have been pee. And he told Sheamus, it's like, well, you know how the old saying goes, it's better to be pissed off. Then he just flings the test at him. Yeah, so Sheamus is gagging, trying not to vomit, all while the Performance Center crowd was chanting, "You got pissed on." Of course, they bleeped out piss, so it was "you got on." So yeah. We come back from commercial, and Sheamus was washing his face, gargling mouthwash, trying to get the memory of having piss hurled at him, off of his mind. Doctor comes in and says Jeff passed the drug test, so there's going to be a match. And so that sends Sheamus into pissed off mode. So yeah. Next we had the New Day coming out. Of course, you know, their usual fanfare, happy, happy, stupid dancing. But before their opponents came out, they took a knee and raised their fists in the air, of course, making their voices heard in the Black Lives Matter subject. Yeah, very subject that no doubt I'm sure they feel very, very strongly about. And it's great that they get to express this on TV. That well, hopefully there's not any backlash behind it. Of course, given that this has been taped some time ago, it could have been scrubbed out. Thank goodness it wasn't. But yeah, they would be taking on Nakamura and Cesaro. Of course, this was a decent back and forth match. In the end, however, Nakamura got the victory over Kofi with a roll up, countering the frog splash, pinned him clean as a whistle. Next, we had a backstage segment with Heavy Machinery. Yes, Tucker was in the fold. He was trying to get Otis to hone in on his other senses ahead of their 6-man tag team match later on. Of course, Mandy rolls up on Otis, pretty much the whole "you forgot your lunchbox" deal, except for it's with the Money in the Bank briefcase. She walks out, and Otis is trying to, regain control, or Tucker's trying to regain control of Otis, telling him, "Listen, you're teaming with Braun Strowman, and this could be your night. You could cash in on Braun after the match, and you could become WWE champion or Universal champion." And that was the last we'd see of that for the time being, because next was the Intercontinental Championship Tournament Finals between the phenomenal AJ Styles and former Intercontinental Champion winner Daniel Bryan. They played an Intercontinental Championship retrospective video package highlighting some of the greats for the IC title. Of course, there was one name who is very synonymous with the Intercontinental Championship and who's held it 9 times, not to mention is one of 2 men to hold that Intercontinental Championship and the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. But they can't mention his name because he works for another promotion, so they just had to scrub him entirely. Otherwise, this was a damn good match. They let this match go the distance. Several commercial breaks. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles kicked the snot out of each other. Styles worked over Daniel Bryan's arm, his leg. Daniel Bryan worked over AJ's arm and leg. And it was just an intense match. There was a nice little counter where Daniel Bryan had gotten the momentum in his favor. Well, this was down towards the finish, and he was going to go for the knee plus. Right as he went up for the knee plus, AJ caught him in powerbomb position, transitioned into a Styles clash, dropped him. Then, after regaining his composure, hit the phenomenal forearm for the victory. AJ Styles is the new Intercontinental Champion. Afterwards, he got interviewed by Renee Young, who basically asked him what does it mean for him, and he said he is the greatest WWE champion that has stepped foot in the ropes, and he will always be phenomenal. Next, we had a Braun Strowman interview, said Miz and Morrison are going to get these hands, and he likes Heavy Machinery. He likes Otis. He likes Tucker. But if they try anything funny with the briefcase, he's about to annihilate some Heavy Machinery. That was just cheesy. Uh, Next, there was a championship celebration for the new women's tag team champions. Of course, Bayley and Sasha. They basically talked about how they're great, and the Full Sail tried to, the Performance Center crowd tried to voice their opinions about Bayley, even saying, "You suck." She responded with, "I do not suck." And you know what they say about being at the top? It's lonely. But I've got my bestie, the Blueprint, the Standard Bearer, Sasha, Boss Time, blah, 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 blah. She was about to read a poem that she wrote for Sasha when she was interrupted by the former tag team champions, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Blissy baby. Yeah, basically Alexa was all for them celebrating, but when it came down to poetry, that's where the line was drawn. And of course, Nikki Cross said, "Yeah, you guys have a good friendship, but we have a better friendship." Speaking of the best friends, speaking of best friends, not not involving Orange Cassidy, we had the Iconics interrupted with a segment that may or may not have been shot during Monday Night Raw tapings. They made the point of contention saying that they beat Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross fairly recently, and they beat Bayley and Sasha in their first reign, and they're going to win again. And then it just turned into a brawl between Bliss and Cross and Sasha and Bayley, as the Iconics just stood there and laughed. And then Bayley made it known that they'll see each other Sunday. Next, we were going to have a Miz and Morrison music video. MC, Miz, and Johnny Drip. I can't get through it without laughing. It's so stupid. It's a good kind of stupid. But it was interrupted by something that was just really, really stupid. They are going all in on this Braun Strowman train thing. Like, they dubbed over his music, it still plays instrumental or whatever, with fucking train sounds, and they give him, like, smoke pyro. It's just really, really stupid. Ugh. But yeah, we cut to commercial, and we come back from commercial. We get a video package for the one, the only bro, Matt Riddle, as he makes his Friday Night Smackdown debut next week. Can't wait. It's about to bro down. Bro. Finally, that leads us to our main event with the 6-man tag team action as Braun Strowman and Heavy Machinery took on Miz, Morrison, and Do Nothing Dolph Ziggler, who's got absolutely nothing to do. Things seem to go well for Heavy Machinery and the Blue Universal Champion until Baron's King Corbin popped up on the Titantron, basically trying to put the moves on Mandy, saying that, yeah, you told Otis to put that crown on because you were fantasizing about being with King Corbin. This leads Otis to abandon the match and just truck the absolute shit out of Corbin and beat the hell out of Corbin. Then we go to commercial, come back from commercial. Miz, Morrison, and Ziggler got the upper hand over Tucker and Strowman until Otis came back full head of steam, got the hot tag, beat the hell out of Miz, Morrison, and put away Dolph Ziggler with the caterpillar elbow for the victory. Otis, Tucker, Mandy Rose, and Braun Strowman stood tall to end the show. So, decent episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Of course, it would be remiss of me if I don't address the creative elephant in the room. Yeah, apparently sometime Thursday in the afternoon, WWE released a post on all of their social media talking about the state of their creative for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Long and the short of it, creative for Raw and SmackDown is now overseen by Bruce Pritchard, while Paul Heyman is focusing on his in-ring persona. So, yeah, the main reason behind this is, well, ratings. SmackDown had been holding pretty steady for the past couple of weeks. Monday Night Raw just continues to plummet. And why did they put all of creative underneath Bruce Pritchard? Pure and simple, Bruce Pritchard is a Vince McMahon guy. Knows exactly what caters to him, to his whims, what his likes, what his dislikes. And of course, there's always been that friction between Paul Heyman and Vince McMahon. So as far as what that means for Paul Heyman, it means, in my opinion, it means at least one or three things. It means, one, they're kind of leaving everything to Pritchard so they can call upon Paul Heyman when he's needed, like in case they need Brock. Second one, and I hope it's not it. I hope it's not it. But that could mean they're bringing Brock in. Again, I hope that's not the case. Or three, which could be very, very interesting, and I could be down for it. Paul Heyman could be picking up a new client. Because, I mean, we've seen this play out with varying degrees of success. Of course, Paul Heyman being in the corner of, most notably, Brock Lesnar. For a short spell, The Big Show. Curtis Axel, Ryback, Cesaro, and his other successful client, CM Punk. Now, who he could represent, don't know, because we don't know if he's going to, be exclusive to Raw, be exclusive to SmackDown, or he could be on NXT. I could see him being manager to Dominik Dijakovic. Apparently, he's scheduled to be going to Monday Night Raw in the near future. Or he could be, and I think this would be a mistake, a mistake to make. He could be backing up Matt Riddle, which Matt Riddle's good enough on the pipe. He doesn't need a mouthpiece for him. Or he could go on to represent somebody else. Who exactly that is, I don't know. But, like I said, could be very, very interesting. And that's going to do it for today's show. Remember, if you miss Rod and his opinions, he has a podcast, Prime Talk with Rodimus Prime on the Cashbox app. Go check it out. Also, while you're here, go check out our picks for Backlash. Yeah, because in case you haven't been paying attention to the 3 count standings in the 3 count series, I'm winning with a whopping 57. I'm not looking at it, looking at the standings right now, but I got a good solid lead. I have won 3 back-to-back pay-per-views, and at Backlash, I am looking to make a 4th. Anyway, that being said, I'm War Machine MJ, and I will see you guys next time. Ba bang.